It's fall. The geese are headed south, and it's time for you to hit the woods. So button things up, find where they hide, and pattern the deer you seek. Come into Cabela's Great Outdoor Days and save over 20% on Herter's Select Grade handgun ammo. Save $180 after mail-in rebate on Walther PPS M2 pistols with instant savings of $80. And get a Vortex Diamondback 3.5 to 10 by 50 V-Plex rifle scope, just $149.99. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Blog Talk Radio, Cindy's Chat Corner, I should say, Cindy's Chat Corner. This evening I am very fortunate to have with me the I should say the founder of Gossip Meets Couture, Miss Leigh Merrill. As a matter of fact, she's actually holding on the line, so let's get started right away on our interview this evening. Good evening, Leigh.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Leigh. I am so excited that you're here.
Me too.
I wanted to tell the audience, we have been trying forever and ever and ever for what seems like weeks and weeks and weeks to get Leigh Merrill on the show. She is so overwhelmingly popular that everybody wants to talk to her or see her or spend time with her. So I'm extremely excited. And I'm honored to have you on my show this evening, actually. I'm very, very excited. I'm glad we're doing this.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Not a problem at all. We're going to be covering, I've got some different territory here that I'd like to talk to you about, but we're going to start with just basic stuff about you for the listening audience that obviously hasn't heard of you before, doesn't know anything about you. For anyone who doesn't know Leigh, she's actually a true native of New York City. Now, for those of us who are not fortunate enough to live there, obviously, year-round, or from little on, I should say, can you share with us maybe some of your poignant memories of your childhood years and growing up there? What can you tell us about that? What's life like there in New York City?
It's just always, it's so interesting growing up here because, I mean, I know that so many people try to move here, especially to the industry that I'm in. And it's just, to me, it's, I guess, because I've lived here my entire life, I guess I've grown out of it a little bit. But I love New York. There's no place like it. Wherever I go in the country, I just, it's just no place like home. So I still love New York.
I gotcha. Okay. And of course, obviously, growing up being a child in New York as compared to as an adult, I mean, have things changed? Have you seen a transgression as far as life being there? I mean, I imagine it's far more hectic. You've had the 911 incident. I mean, are you still really comfortable calling that home?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, like, since 9/11, I guess everyone's been a little at the edge of their seats a little bit because it's just there's everything. I mean, we had a few days ago, actually, we had the Empire State Building. They had a shooting. So to me, like, it's like right away you think, like, oh, back to that day, because I feel like living in New York that day, I think just made it was just it's a day you'll never forget, like, your whole life, like, what you're doing on that day. So it just really, it's definitely changed in that sense.
Oh, definitely. Sure. Now, were you personally affected or hopefully not? I mean, knew anyone or personally affected as it relates to the entire 911 incident?
I wasn't. I guess it's just, I guess because there was so many people around you that were, and, like, I was in high school at the time, and there was so many people in my class that had parents that were in the building, and it was very hard to kind of, like, watch it. I was still young, so it was definitely difficult.
Gotcha. Definitely. And I imagine so even for us living in different states and areas all across the world, amazingly, amazingly difficult. And as I understand it, now you've all done the restructuring, and has it gotten easier for people, do you think? Or are you still that healing process going on, I wonder, even now, even so long after the effect?
Well, I feel like, we have the Freedom Tower, and it's been going up now for a while. But, they still kind of do the ceremonies every year, and I feel like it's still such a, like, somber moment, and I feel like it makes it harder for people to move on, and that's why, and it's just still, like, every September 11th, they have the mayor, and everyone comes to ground zero, and they kind of just, they read all the names, and it's nice. I definitely agree with that. But I guess it's hard. I could only imagine for them, the people's families, what they go through.
Oh, certainly, definitely. I would have to say that. Gotcha. Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about your early start-ons. Like, for instance, at what point in your education did you make that determination that working in the entertainment industry was going to suit your lifestyle best?
Well, the truth is, growing up, I was a huge Mariah Carey fan. Like, since I was 5 years old, that was my idol. And so when I was like 6 or 7 years old, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to, be in the entertainment industry and stuff. But then, I don't sing. I never really did any of that. But, and then when I was 19, I decided to, and this was like while I was in college, but I decided to manage music artists and just kind of get my feet wet that way. And then it's just, I kind of left the entertainment industry for a little while, and then when I had gone back, I decided, I love celebrities, and I love just kind of knowing what they're up to, and I love fashion, so I just thought of this idea, and that's where Gossip Meets Couture came from.
Sure. Gotcha. And then, of course, at what point in time, was this something kind of like you woke up one morning and decided, okay, this is the type of thing. Let me just start off by saying, obviously, in case any of you who are listening don't know this, and this is to Leigh's as far as her repertoire of talent, she's been an actor, or I should say actress, model, and, of course, has been in the music industry, in addition, of course, to working in the entertainment industry. Can you maybe give me some insight as far as regarding your choices to veer towards these different occupations? What made you kind of go one to another to another? What was the intrigue relating to each one of them?
Well, I guess acting, I kind of just, it was just something that I sort of wanted to do, and I was never that good at it. I never took classes. I never went to school for it, so it's hard. You don't realize that when what you're going up against, because there's so many people that do this from 2 years old, 3 years old, so that was hard for me. I definitely needed training. But modeling, I just always kind of, it always kind of intrigued me in a way, but, it wasn't something that I really wanted to do career-wise, and I just feel that it's very, like body image-wise and stuff like that, there's so much pressure, and it never was something that I really wanted to go in that route. I was always kind of in the business end of it, and hosting was really where my heart was, and I always wanted, another big, idol of mine that I look up to, and it would be Juliana Rancic, and the reason because of that is she does hosting, and that's kind of where the hosting thing came from, and I've been watching her for years, and, I've met her many times, and I've interviewed her, and I just kind of always pick her brain. Whenever I see her, I just kind of how to get into this industry and how to do it, because, she knows firsthand, and she started pretty much similar, in Washington, D.C. she did it. But, yeah, it's just like kind of, that's how I went into that realm.
I gotcha. And then, of course, obviously, can you give us maybe the time span, because obviously Leigh is a younger lady, so I imagine that, of course, your progression has gone one to another at a young age, if I'm not mistaken, or can you kind of timeline it for us so we have some idea?
Yeah, I would say, during, when, college time was mainly, when I was doing the managing the music artists. And then, after, I actually was in the medical field for a little while. So that I took a little break from it, and it was something, I was a medical assistant. So I was doing that for a while. And then I would say, when I got back about 5 years ago is when or maybe 4 years ago, I started doing the modeling and acting and then the hosting. And I've been doing Gossip Meets Couture now for almost 2 years.
Right, gotcha. Okay, now in terms of these occupations we're referring to, do you maybe see that your future might entail endeavors relative to all of them? Would you maybe go back to one or two if you had to or wanted to, do you think?
Well, my ultimate goal is obviously to grow with Gossip Meets Couture and be a very, well-known, even more well-known site. But also, as far as I go, I really want to do the hosting for, a major network or my own show. That's kind of where I kind of started Gossip. Gossip Meets Couture actually started as a web series only, and it was just supposed to be where I host a show. I was actually with one of my best friends, and we ended up going different ways with it. But, I just kind of I figured, it's hard to get into the hosting field, so why not host my own show? And that's kind of how it started. So that's like my ultimate goal of what I'm doing right now.
Okay, I gotcha. That's right. Okay, now I'm curious to know, who were some of your earlier inspirations as it relates to the fashion world? And, of course, it could be now, it could be back then. Maybe we could start from old to new.
Okay, well, probably I'm trying to think who mostly. Like I said, Giuliana Rancic, I really look up to her in a lot of ways. I always, look at her clothes because she's always dressed as so fashionable, but that's, one person that I definitely follow a lot with that. But other than that, I'm very into this. I just look at all the magazines. I like to stay current. So I don't think there's actually, one person. I'm always just kind of looking at what everyone's wearing.
I got it. So we wouldn't find you peeking around to kind of see what Rachel Zoe is going to be designing next week.
Yeah, Fashion Week is approaching here in New York, so
right.
They have a lot.
That's right. So obviously you'll probably go see Rachel Zoe yourself now, won't you?
Yeah, we have actually next week we have something called I don't know if you've heard Fashion Night Out, where all the stores come. Yeah, it's a really great event, really great. And Rachel Zoe, I think she's hosting an event this year too. She did last year. She did at Bloomingdale's.
I gotcha. Okay, got it. Okay. In case anybody hasn't got it yet, by the tone of Leigh's voice, that your first love is obviously fashion.
I
now I want.
Fashion.
We kind of gathered that. I know that the initial launching of Gossip Meets Couture was in April of 2011, and as you mentioned, it was obviously a web series to start. Now, can you maybe explain how your project was collaborated on in order to arrive upon what we now know to be Gossip Meets Couture? Maybe just kind of, was it just something on a piece of paper where we thought, let's toy around with it? How did we get to where we are now?
Yeah, it started out, I wanted to do sort of like a gossip show, and I was doing it with my best friend, and we actually started it, and if you look it up on YouTube, you'd probably find it. It's really embarrassing, but it's called the Sage and Paige Show. And we kind of just started doing this, and we did a couple episodes, and it just never went really anywhere. It was kind of a joke. It wasn't really anything serious. And then about a year later, I said, you know what, I really want to do this. I want to do a show, and I wanted to interview up-and-coming talent, fashion designers, musicians, and different types of people. And then what happened was, so we started doing that, and we were successful. We had a couple designers on, and it was going well. And then we actually, that's how it all started also with Giuliana Rancic. Back to her, she was doing an event, and I went down there and interviewed her. And then from there, we got Fran Drescher and then a bunch of different celebrities. And it just kind of grew from there into more of a celebrity thing, which is what I ultimately wanted. And that's kind of where it went towards more.
I gotcha. Okay. And now, of course, judging by the different formats, which we're going to get into right now, let's cover your first element, which is the Gossip Meets Couture TV and movie news. Now, from what I gather, it's a plethora of covering red carpet events, celebrity interviews, coverage of various TV programming. Can you maybe elaborate on the established format for this element of your series and what direction you want to see this go into?
Yeah. As we launch, we're planning to launch hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We're going to relaunch our site. And I teamed up recently with Rosie Mercado. She's a beautiful plus-size model that I've worked with. She was my correspondent in Vegas. And I just, I said to her, let's do this together because she's really driven and it's just really great. So she's sort of more my partner in this right now. So we relaunched the site. And we decided to take more of a fashion kind of twist to it. It's going to be very fashion-based and very, but we do talk about all sorts of things, TV. And when it comes to TV, we mainly talk a lot about, I would say, reality TV and young Hollywood. Because that's something that I really am interested in because I just love seeing how these stars, how they dress and come into the spotlight, and it's really just great. So we deal a lot with young Hollywood. A lot of my interviews are with Pretty Little Liar people and ABC Family and people like that.
Of course, certainly. Is there anyone in the young Hollywood per se that's really kind of caught your eye that you think maybe is an up-and-comer, someone that you're very impressed with at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan. I watch like all the ABC Family shows. I mean, I feel I'm probably the age group that's watching it is much younger than me. But the reason I watch it is because I interview a lot of them and I need to know about the shows and I got really into them. They're really addicting. So I've been watching Little Liars a lot, and those four girls I think are really, all four of them are beautiful, and the way they dress is just like that show is based on like, it's very fashionable. It's not about fashion at all, but it's very fashionable. So all four of them, I would say, really are have made a big splash into the entertainment. And also I love Carly Rae Jepsen, the singer. I think I love her style. Yeah.
Wow, that's the first person to hear me say, or I should say, I hear that from. Now let's do the opposite side of the spectrum, because I think you and I are unilateral as it relates to our reality TV watching. Throw me a couple names, people that are impressive to you, just fashion-wise, interview-wise, someone you've come across that you just thought, just class act, period.
Well, I mean, I've interviewed a lot of the housewives, and I know we've talked about that before.
Yes.
Yeah. I really love Melissa Gorga. I think she always looks really, like, adorable whenever I see her, and she's really sweet, too. So it makes it better when they're nicer. But,
of course, when the person's nice, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another person I met that I feel there's a lot of misconceptions about, and from watching the show, is Teresa. And I think she was really nice and very polite, and I think she always looks nice, no matter what. Like, her fashion sense, and she's a very nice figure, and she always looks great. So I think, like, Teresa always brings it home.
I gotcha. Okay, yeah, because obviously each reality show, they kind of thrive, and I've noticed that with the fashions, et cetera. Even, you know, there's one side of it that's a story, then there's the fashion side of it, and there's all different layers that come along with it. And so it's really become a lot of pop culture that's out there, actually. It seems to be what the draw is significantly today. As I was going to say on that the inclusion of the celebrity guests. Now, can I just ask you who your most, if you had to say favorites, because I know that's not the best word, out of all the people that you've interviewed across the board, male, female, pop culture, you know, reality, non-reality, who might some of your favorites have been and why?
Well, definitely Fran Drescher. I mean, I grew up watching her, and it was just kind of surreal to have, like, the voice in front of me. So it was a lot of, and she was my second interview, so it was definitely exciting. And I mean, other than that, I mean, like I said, I did Juliana Rancic. I interviewed Mariah Carey's husband, Nick Cannon, which was pretty exciting too. And but yeah, I mean, it's just everyone's like really, you know, like all the people I've met have been just really nice. So it really just makes it a better experience.
Of course, definitely. Would you find that any particular guest would you describe as maybe being more of a challenge to you? Or you personally walked in and thought, this is going to be a challenge, but I'm going to conquer it, I'm going to be able to do it for whatever reason?
I mean, I've talked to a lot of people. I mean, just some people, you know what it is? Sometimes you talk to them and they have their whole team there, and the team is just kind of hovering, and they kind of make it more difficult. I mean, like, I would say that would have to be Maggie Gyllenhaal. I interviewed, and it was just, her team was just all over that, and she was very nice about it.
I imagine so. Definitely, but that can be very intimidating or make you nervous. Or even me, when I have certain celebrities that come on here, I just am pacing the floor, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, I can't do this, and this is, and then they just turn out to be fabulous, you know. It's just kind of those things, definitely. So I know what you mean. Now, of course, obviously, I wanted to talk about the last component, the Gossip Meets Couture, which is obviously a combination of both the if I could talk today, fashion and fitness. Now, first I wanted to kind of ask about, talk to me about Master J, his background. What are some of the major goals that you want to accomplish as far as in that area of things, as far as fitness-wise goes?
Well, yeah, I was actually looking, because I was trying to grab different audiences, because we talk so much about celebrities and we talk a lot about fashion, but I wanted to do fitness as well, because that's actually very important to me. You know, I eat healthy and stuff like that. So I had talked to Master Jay, and he's a trainer out in LA, originally from Texas, and he just basically, we said, let's do this blog and let's just see how it goes, and it's gotten a really great response. And I think, he focuses a lot on different kinds of tips and stuff like that, and, a lot of people just have been drawn to it. So it's very great working with him as well. And he should be,
and how long
when we relaunch as well.
I gotcha. And how long has your working relationship been established with him?
Probably about 6 months, about.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, fine. So this will be a collaboration that will continue, obviously, with the relaunch.
Yes, it will.
Okay, gotcha. Now, on the other side of things, fashion. Now, I discovered there were 3 things that Leigh had laid out, which is the couture chic, the couture brochure, and then the chic or break. Can you maybe elaborate on each one of those components so people can kind of tell what you cover in each area?
Yeah, it should be similar to when we relaunched, but the couture brochure was something we came up with to sort of show the fashion side of things, because we report on a lot of different events and just sort of what people were wearing, not really what the event was or something like that, just kind of focusing on the clothes. And then chic or bleak was something, it's kind of like who wore it better. Okay. And we put up a lot of different things. We had on Halloween, we had a bunch of different of the costumes of the celebrities, and it's basically very celebrity based. And it's just kind of getting different aspects of fashion, and we'll have that moving forward as well. But our new website will be much more user friendly and very easy to navigate, and we're hoping it'll be even better.
And now these particular fashions, do you circulate most of those, do you find being in the New York area, or do you use this, is this everywhere, all over, statewide, you name it, as far as your fashion coverage?
Well, a lot of the fashion we talk about is celebrities, but, it's most of the stuff that we talk about we get from events. And also I have, a lot of people, send me stuff from other events, but it's basically like New York, LA, and Vegas, and we're trying to expand into Miami. We've been working on things like that, but it's mainly Vegas, LA, and New York, and that's basically the events that we go to. But other than that, as far as like that, I do also have something we started doing for a little while was bloggers in different cities, sort of to get fashion and what's going on in other people's cities, because it's different everywhere,
Right. Of course. I was just going to ask that, maybe like a columnist or a correspondent, or is someone going to come on, do you envision eventually that's going to be covering events or fashion lines or anything relative to that in other places to kind of open up people's eyes other ways?
Yes, definitely.
Good idea. Wonderful. And, of course, obviously, as you were mentioning the relaunch, do we have a definitive date as of yet on the relaunch?
Yeah, we're hoping for September 11th, and that's the reason being is Rosie, she's actually starring on a reality show called Curvy Girls, and we also were featured on the show as well, Gossip Meets Couture, and I came on, I believe it's episode 2. It'll be on the Nuvo TV.
Okay.
So that was kind of why we wanted to go towards that date. And then in October, we'll be having a launch party in LA. And most likely it'll be what?
I said I know we're all getting invited to that one. Go ahead.
Of course. You should come after LA. So that'll be in October, and we're going to basically celebrate the official launch, and I'll be out in LA for that. So anyone who's out in LA.
Definitely go ahead and check that out. And certainly, can you share with us, will there be new elements that are going to automatically be introduced right away once it's relaunched?
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, it'll be more user-friendly, and just sort of, it'll just be more like, as we're making it more chic, that's basically what we're saying. And And we want to eventually, we're going to be coming out with an app as well, and you'll be able to get up-to-date gossip, you know, to the minute.
Okay.
And that's, you know, a lot moving forward, and we're definitely going to be covering a lot of events, and we're hoping to even get into the big red carpet events, you know, Oscars and everything. So that's what, you know, we have a lot moving forward. We'll be all over Fashion Week, so that'll kind of be part of the launch as well.
And then will you be, I'm assuming that your staff is now increased, or is it kind of a one-woman Leah runs the show with everything sort of thing?
Well, yeah, I definitely have people that I work with. It's still sort of, I mean, like Rosie and I do most of the coordinating and everything, but I have a great team of girls who cover events in LA and even in New York. I brought on more people. You know, I used to take on sort of all of the New York stuff, and I decided to bring on some correspondents, and it's really worked out great. So, you know, just so we could cover more events in one day, and it really worked out that way.
Oh, that's wonderful. Terrific. Okay. Now, in the creation of Gossip Meets Couture, do you find that you've been privy to various opportunities which you normally would not have been due to the creation of this?
Well, yeah. I mean, it definitely, I mean, these events, some of them I never would have dreamed of being able to go to. So it's, that's really exciting that I'm able to, you know, I go in, you know, as press, and that's really cool.
Definitely. And I'm sure that the audience is probably inquiring this because they're hearing you talking about the interviewing and all the various things you get to do. How did you establish, yourself in terms of having that background? Because obviously a person doesn't just wake up one morning and say, well, I'm going to go off and I'm going to interview Juliana Rancic, you know, because I'm sure some young lady at home will be sitting and thinking, hey, Leigh Merrill can do it, I can do it. Well, Leigh Merrill, let's tell everyone how we got to that point.
Well, you know what it is? I've always just kind of been one of those kind of people that just takes chances and a go-getter and stuff like that. So it really had a lot to do with just kind of taking the chances and calling publicists and just sort of establishing the company and doing all that. And that's really what it came from. And then once you have a couple names, then more celebrities are willing to do interviews with you. And that's kind of how it started. But to get your first, 5 to 10, you really have to just take chances. The worst that can happen is they say no.
Definitely. You gotcha. And to anybody that might be out there and aspiring, someone who wants to get in any one of the fields as far as you've been, acting, modeling, things of that nature, any good advice you could give to someone younger maybe that's looking to build a career on something like this?
Yeah, I mean, the one definitely word of advice is you really have to have strong skin, and because there's a lot of rejection in this industry, and that's you know, I have a lot of friends that are also in the industry, and that's all you hear about, and that's what people talk about. But it really is great, and it's worth. If you have this tough skin, then you definitely, I feel like you can make it far in this industry if you stay with it. You really have. It's never an overnight process.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely. And out of all the forums that you've done, as far as with the acting and the modeling and doing what you do now, which would you prefer? What's your top pick? Is it still fashion? Would you go in another direction now, do you think?
Definitely, you know, the fashion and the whole thing is definitely, you know, acting and modeling is great, and I think it's a lot of fun, but it just never was my first choice.
I gotcha. Okay, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm curious also, obviously since you have a number of affiliations with business owners, celebrities, et cetera, have you begun to start maybe partnering up with charitable organizations, or is that something you're going to be working on as far as in the future?
Well, we haven't done too much with that yet, but it's something I'm very interested in. At our launch party that we had in New York in February, we teamed up with Bright Pink organization. It's a breast cancer organization. And, you know, I like the work that they do, and I like to do, you know, I'm also involved with, you know, definitely the anti-bullying is something that's very close to me, and I want to put a stop to that. So those are the types of things that I definitely like. Cancer and, you know, the anti-bullying is something that I've always, you know, stood behind. So
I gotcha. Okay, so hopefully something in the future we can see with that as far as that goes. Okay, wonderful. just some very generic questions for you because we all want to know, since Leigh is talented and intelligent and successful and beautiful, I might add.
Thank you.
Is she dating anybody?
I'm not right now.
Oh, my God. Stop the presses because that answer has stayed consistent. Oh, my goodness. So anyone, I call out to you in the New York, New Jersey area, Leigh Merrill, she has a website. Take a look at her. Oh, my gosh, this is a travesty, I have to say, ladies. This is a travesty, another successful and intelligent woman who's single. Blows my mind today. Oh, my
thank
goodness.
you.
Okay. Now that we covered that one, how about your most, what's the most fascinating thing you've ever done in any one of your positions? Anything that might kind of surprise us, like you thought, this is just the coolest thing in the world, whether it be celebrity, relative, or not?
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, it has to, even dating back, within my career, you mean?
In general. Preferably career, but you could share either or.
Probably one of my most fascinating, moments was, when I was 9 years old, I went to go meet Mariah Carey. I was such a huge fan, and it was so surreal to see her, out of the screen. I was 9 years old, and so that was, really amazing to me, so. I have to say that.
So. Okay, now let's do the opposite side of the spectrum and say something you absolutely abhorred and thought, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life and I can't wait till it's over. If you can even say it.
There's always been situations. You go to, red carpet events and you're sort of at the lower end of the spectrum and, people
yes,
kind of
I
step
imagine.
all over
I relate.
you.
Yep. Yep. Kind of makes you feel like about an inch tall.
Yeah, so it's kind of, it's just dealing with celebrities in general sometimes can be really intimidating, but if you just got to kind of, they're real people, and that's all you have to kind of see through all that. So.
Sure, I understand, definitely. Now, I'm curious on your take on this one, because I've had this discussion with other guests on my show and in addition to other business owners, et cetera. In the celebrity world, what I like to call it is there's a differential between the two, meaning that you have a slew of reality star shows, or reality television, I should say, so you get reality show celebrities out of there. And then you have your actual A-list celebrities that come basically from Hollywood, that, movies, television, whatever the case may be. Now, I'm assuming that you've dealt with both, obviously. My question to you is, do you see a differential between the two of them, and if so, what is it?
The truth is, what I see from it, a lot of people have an issue with reality TV, and they say it's it's taking away jobs and stuff. But to me, I love watching it. So, but I do see that I think that the reality stars, and not all of them, trust me, I've met so many that were just so nice, but feel very entitled. And more than I find that sometimes I see the biggest A-lister that's so much more generous and stuff like that, and then you have a reality star that's not, that out there, and they just feel like they feel like they're more of an A-lister, I guess, than they are. And I think that's sort of where I see a difference, where sometimes they just feel very entitled.
Okay, almost like I think one of my friends had called it the diva complex, whereas, their head is inflated about 18 feet larger than it actually is, just because the reality show gives them, celebrity status, if you will. So I was just curious to kind of get your take on that, because obviously I've only met a few more of the A-listers, and so it's interesting to kind of see that actually, and the evolution of how things are and where you think they're going to go. And not only that, that's my other question to you is, being a reality show type person who covers that, where do you see the future of reality television? Do you see the continual spin-offs? Do you see them producing more quality reality shows? Or is it just a plethora of, we have to jump on the reality bandwagon, so let's continue to keep just doing reality show? Do you follow?
I think, yeah. I think it's grown so much. So, but the thing is, I feel like it's not going anywhere. And one of the reasons being, and I've really seen, I've spoken to people about this, and I think it's just so much cheaper to make reality TV than regular like sitcoms and stuff like that, because it's not a set, you don't have to get all that together. So I just think that they're saving tons of money by doing a lot of reality TV.
I gotcha, and I would have to concur with that, obviously. And like I've said before, there's some good quality reality show television programming that is out there. I mean, it does tend to run along the dramatic side, depending on what you're watching, obviously. But it's always curious to get someone else's take as far as that goes. I also wanted to ask you, obviously, looking down the road, a year or two from now, Gossip Meets Couture, it launches again. It's a fabulous success. What does Leigh Merrill do then? What does her future entail?
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm trying to grow it to being Gossip Meets Couture, to being sort of, international and being everywhere, covering all the fashion weeks, in London and Paris. And it just sort of, going forward and covering all the big red carpet events, Oscars, Emmys, and everything. And that's sort of where I see it. And then as far as me, I mean, I'm hoping to have my, either be hosting on a well-known show or having my own show.
Oh, definitely. And this own show would entail, got any thoughts, anything exciting we should look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, something that, I've always been into is, like e-news and stuff like that. Not really a talk show. It's not what I really had in mind. It's more like, extra e-news, stuff like that.
I gotcha. Okay, now I think one of my last questions to you is going to be, because we all have our favorites, obviously. So I would like your male and female counterpart as far as if you could name one person you would want to interview, who would it be? Could be any genre, any field, anywhere. Definitely
Mariah Carey would be one, but female-wise, I haven't done that yet, and I kind of be pretty nervous to do it. But my other, if it was a male, and there's so many people. Meryl Streep and people like that. But then there's I always wanted to meet Patrick Dempsey from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, Dr. McDreamy.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Look at that. And here you are as a celebrity interviewer. Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to go on record right now on air saying that if it's at all possible and I can try to sway it, I will see what I can do to put in the good word. Not that I'm any higher up than you are, but you know what? If more people pound on the door, you're going to get your interview. Definitely. Oh, I would absolutely love that, because I myself personally am currently working on trying to get just one. All I need is just one of the Sons of Anarchy cast members. I would be just elated. I would just love it. And I have been pounding on their door for 4 weeks solid. And they keep blowing me off, and FX keeps saying no. But I'm going to keep trying, because I'm going to get that interview.
You will, don't worry.
I'm trying. Now, just in case I forget to mention, Leigh Merrill is on Facebook. Obviously, her name is Leigh Merrill, in case you want to find her directly. She has got a Facebook account. She's also on Twitter, which is @Leigh J. Merrill. And just so everybody else, her first name spelled Leigh, Merrill being Merrill. Her website is www.leighmerrill.com. And
it's actually Leigh J. Merrill, sorry.
Oh, excuse me. I actually made an error. I apologize.
No,
now, I'm going to assume that your previous, which is the www.gossipmeetscouture.com, now when that gets relaunched, do we look for that somewhere else, or will that be the same?
No, it'll be the same. And they could also follow us on Twitter and Facebook for updates now. So, and that's that's facebook.com/gossipmeetscouture, or Twitter is @gossipcoutureXO.
Right. I just wasn't sure how we were going to handle all of that, since sometimes with the relaunching, people always do things a little bit differently at times. So I want to make sure that I give everybody the most accurate information. Now, if somebody wants to come and meet you in person, Leigh Merrill, where are you going to be at in the near future? Are we doing an event soon? Where can we find you?
Well, I'm always all over in New York. I'll definitely be all over Fashion Night Out in New York next week, and then I'll be out in LA for most of October, and then we're having our launch party. I believe it's going to be October 9th. That's what we're aiming towards, and that's a Tuesday.
Okay. I got
So I'll have more information, and I'll put all that out on our Facebook and our Twitter.
That would be absolutely wonderful. And we should shoot for Wednesday because then I can make it. Just a side note. Tuesdays are bad for me, but that's okay. Definitely. I have to just say, Leigh Merrill, I have to say 4 things about you. I think you are the most entertaining woman I have spoken to off air and on air. I think that your talent is amazing. I think you are just intelligent beyond words, and I think you're just a delight. I don't know what else I could possibly say about you than that. I'm very lucky to know you. And I
thank you. I'm lucky to know you as well.
Which I'm just very, very lucky that I had the opportunity to have you on the show. And certainly I expect every one of my listeners to go check out our website, get onto Facebook, send her a message. She is very, very computer-friendly, very user-friendly, I should say, and she will get back to you, obviously. And, Leigh, I certainly hope that you will keep my show as an open invitation for any time you wish to promote any of your products or any launchings you have.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And you should come on our show as well.
Oh, I will definitely make it a point to do that, folks. Did you hear that? We're doing multiple shows here now on the show. Wonderful. Yay! All right, Leigh Merrill, I'm going to let you off the hook now. We're going to cover a couple topics on my show, and I hope to talk to you in the very near future, dear.
Yes, definitely. And have a great rest of the show.
All right. Thanks, Leigh.
Okay, bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, folks, that was our exclusive interview with Leigh Merrill of Gossip Meets Couture. Again, I just wanted to throw out, first off, some of this information as to how to reach her directly. Again, she is located on Facebook as Leigh, L-E-I-G-H, Merrill, M-E-R-R-I-L-L. Twitter being the exact same thing, at Leigh J. Merrill. Website, www.leighjmerrill.com. And for the Gossip Meets Couture site, it's going to be the same website, www.gossipmeetscouture.com. On Facebook, Gossip Meets Couture, as well as Twitter, to be getting any kind of updates. As she mentioned, hopefully within the next few weeks, they're going to be launching their site, which is, again, a web series / online magazine / blog. So I want to once again say thank you so much for visiting our show, Leigh. Few things that I want to go through before I decide to leave us off of air. First of which was I wanted to share to my listening audience, who has always been so kind and gracious as it relates to comments and feedback for my show, just want to take the moment to say thank you, first off, for giving me the constructive criticism as it relates to my show and interviews and things that I do pertaining to Sin's Chat Corner. Second of all, I appreciate all the help and support and assistance that you offer me anytime I throw out my needs or my wants or events or anything involving group participation. Again, thank you for that. I'd also like to throw out a particular subject to my listening audience in the hopes that they can possibly assist me. Many of you probably don't know this, but at 43 years of age, I have been a very long-term smoker, and very recently, as of almost 4 days ago, I opted to quit smoking. I'm actually utilizing Wellbutrin on a very small basis, so for all intents and purposes, I am really going cold turkey on quitting my smoking habit. I have to tell you that I'm extremely miserable and that this has been an extremely arduous task that I find I would just like to rip my house apart right now just to find a cigarette, for lack of a better term. I'm struggling quite a bit. I'm very cranky. I have a lot of very physical symptoms. I'm kind of reaching out to my listening audience in the hopes that someone who's either been through this experience or is currently going through this experience right now will be able to share with me perhaps some tips as it relates to how to make the withdrawal easier, some suggestions as to what kind of foods to eat or to avoid, giving me some ideas as to how long this might last, some support systems, whether it's online or offline, as it relates to, again, making this just a smoother transition. What I'm finding is that it's, obviously smoking is very much a habit. So, getting up, having your coffee in the morning or having your lunch or having your dinner, it kind of lends itself to the fact that I'm going to want to have a cigarette on a continual basis. So, anything you can do to help me in this process, I would greatly appreciate it. Again, you can leave me a message on my show page at Sin's Chat Corner. You can leave me a message on Facebook, again, show page, or my personal page, which is Cindy. The last name is M-I-C-H. You can leave me an email at my direct email address, which is CIN4251 @gmail.com. In addition to which, you can also send me a tweet, and my my handle there is at SANDB111. I, again, would greatly appreciate absolutely any kind of assistance that you could help me with as it relates to this nasty habit, because these last 3 days have been just hell, for lack of a better term. I'm really hoping that we can kind of stay on the straight and narrow as it relates to this. So I greatly appreciate your assistance as far as that goes. Also, again, wanted to throw out a 5-second reminder to everyone. On my show last time, I'd indicated that I am sharing a celebrity fundraising event in part to benefit the Wisconsin Breast Cancer Coalition. Said event is due to happen on October 20th from 7 to 11 in the Milwaukee area. I am currently still seeking volunteers. I'm still looking for vendors. I'm still seeking for any individuals who might want to donate items, and in addition to which, I'm going to be having a charity date auction. So I'm still in need of 2 individuals who would allow themselves to be auctioned off for charity. I will be able to provide you with all further details as long as you directly contact me. I can provide all those details for you, certainly. In addition to which, I wanted to throw out there this coming weekend, I have my very dear friend Bill White, who is the guitar player in a band called Audacious White Noise. Feel free to go ahead and check them out. They're going to be playing at a bar on Saturday called 106 Sea Booth, which is located right next door to the Screaming Tuna Restaurant. If any of you live in downtown Milwaukee, you would know that that's literally right off of Water Street, and it's located right on Sea Booth, actually. So definitely take a chance. Go ahead, check them out. My last item that I wanted to bring to your attention before we end this evening's interview is that I am very, very lucky and feel very humbled to have this particular individual on my show tomorrow. Her name is Lisa Marino Dickinson, and she has to be, in my opinion, one of the most amazing individuals in life. She's actually dedicated her life to trying to stop childhood autoinflammatory disease. So for those of you who are not familiar with that, we're going to be talking about the disease itself. We're going to be talking about her personal experiences, meaning how it's affected her own child, as well as what they call the Stop CAID organizations, and those are actually not only locally but nationally as well. So I would wholeheartedly advocate and greatly appreciate if you would call in, or listen in tomorrow, I should say, at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Lisa Marino Dickinson, again, is her name. You can check her out on Facebook as well. So definitely I want to thank my listening audience for tuning in this evening. So sorry if I'm having kind of a rough time of it today. As I said, nicotine withdrawal, I guess, has gotten the better of me. So we look forward to talking to you tomorrow, again, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you then. Have a good evening.
Honda's introducing a new word, summerbration. Use it as a noun, like, I picked up a 2017 Civic with 0.9% APR at the Honda Summerbration sales event. Or a verb, I'm summerbrating with KBB.com's Best Buy overall winner. Start your summerbration today at your Honda dealer.
Visit your Metro Milwaukee Honda dealer today during the Honda Summerbration sales event.
For more information, visit KellyBlueBooksKBB.com. APR financing offers available for well-qualified buyers. Offer excludes all hatchback models and Civic S size. See dealer for financing details.
At Honda, we know young people love new words, so we made one up too, summerbration. And it is tight, just like the 2017 Fit at 0.9% APR. So hurry into your local dealer for the Honda Summerbration sales event from KBB.com's Best Value brand.
Visit your Metro Milwaukee Honda dealer today during the Honda Summerbration sales event.
Based on 2017 brand image awards from Kelly Blue Book, visit KBB.com for information. APR financing offers available for well-qualified buyers. See dealer for financing details.